Right. Yarden Bibas is probably the most internationally renowned among them. He's 35. He was taken from his bedroom, from his home in Kibbutz Kfar Aza with his wife, Shiri Bibas, who was famously videotaped by the Hamas terrorists who had invaded her community, sobbing and huddling with her two small red-headed children as they were being taken away from home. He was taken separately from them by a different group. He had been trying to rescue his family, and nobody knows what is their fate for now. So his mother has just been quoted in Israeli media saying, well, at least he looks okay, that the first images of him there, you see him surrounded by Hamas, armed Hamas militants are there. The other person who we've seen, Ofer Kalderon, he's a man who was taken with his two children. The kids were released in November 2023 when most of the minors, Israeli minors held by Hamas, were released. And they have been staying with his ex-wife, with their mother ever since. Both of these families have been very, very active in the public sphere in Israel. And so they're talked about here almost as if everyone knew them, as if they were family members. I see now these images of Ofer Calderon, whose parents were French or Maghrebian immigrants to Israel. He seems to look very, very pale and gaunt.
Yeah, just to explain again, those pictures we just saw, we've just been receiving those in the last few minutes. That's Yarden Bibas appearing first on stage, under duress, of course, waving to the crowd with guns trained on him. And then after that, we saw Ofer Calderon, as you said there, Noga, doing the same thing.
I've just heard that they're now already in Israeli army hands and they're on the way to cross into the Israeli border.
Okay, thanks for that. So in terms of those who've been released so far, what's their condition like?
You know, it's a very tricky question. What I can tell you is that even the first hostages who were released, in other words, those 3 civilian women released now a bit more than 2 weeks ago, they are not yet home. They're still in a convalescence facility. They've left hospital about a week ago. They stayed in hospital about a week. The second group who were released appeared to be in somewhat more fragile health. And we do know from the group who were released in a surprise release on Thursday that Arbel Yehud, who is 29, and the 5 Thai citizens who were released were apparently kept, the 5 Thais together and Arbel Yehud alone, for 15 and a half months in underground tunnels, that they hadn't seen the light of day in all this time. Arbel Yehud has been described by her father as severely malnourished. We had the British Israeli Emily Damari. She was released in the first group. She had been wounded twice, and just yesterday in a conversation with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, her mother revealed that she had been refused medical treatment despite having been shot twice and wounded twice. So I think, given the fact that none have been able to get home yet to even resume a kind of leisurely routine at home, we should assume that they're still facing physical and mental challenges upon their release.
Now, so far, and obviously we'll keep watching, but this looks less chaotic than compared to Thursday. What happened on Thursday, and you know, are we expecting this to go a little bit better today?
Well, I don't know what to expect. I know that the Israeli government made a firm demand of Qatar, the principal intermediary with Hamas, saying that it was not going to continue releasing prisoners if these scenes were repeated. But, you know, I don't know how much of that was kind of muscle flexing and how much was real, because the fact of the matter is that both of these organizations, Hamas and Islamic Jihad, like to parade women captives as kind of trophies. Now, today we're seeing a group of men. They're all men over a certain age, over 30. None are being treated like military trophies. And I think there are 2 reasons: their sex and their clearly civilian status. is changing a little bit the spectacle that we're seeing in Khan Yunis.